French President Emmanuel Macron is on a state visit to South Africa. President Ramaphosa and his French counterpart will be discussing trade and investment, including technical skills training in South Africa in collaboration with the private sector. For more, we cross to my colleague Nzinga Qunta in Midrand. Nzinga, we spoke to Sophie a little bit earlier on. Perhaps you can let us in on what some of the discussions are taking place there right now.
A very good afternoon to you, Nastasia, and to our viewers. We're coming to you live from the Schneider factory in Midrand. That's taking place in the context of French President Emmanuel Macron's first visit to South Africa. We know that trade is being discussed, vaccine manufacturing is going to be discussed at the University of Pretoria a little bit later on. But what we're doing here is a French skills trade transfer that's going to be taking place. CEOs of some of the top French companies, including L'Oreal and Total, as well as Schneider, are going to be gathering here today, talking about the investments in South Africa, what's going to be taking place. We know that at President Ramaphosa's 2018 investment summit, France pledged around 20 billion rand into investment in South Africa. This conversation is continuing French-South Africa trade relations. I'm going to bring into the conversation Dr. Yves Ganou. He is the chairman of the French-South Africa Commerce of Chamber and Industry. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News this afternoon. Just talk to us about the trade relations between France and South Africa.
Thank you so much for inviting us. We are very lucky today to have the French president coming, and it's a good sign for the improvement. Even the relations are very good between France and South Africa. When we have such visit, we have all the time an improvement on the relationship. And the objective, as you told before, is today linked to the COVID vaccine, but it's also all the industry. And the objective really is to strengthen the relationship, to increase the investment. As you spoke about the 2019 summit by the President Cyril Ramaphosa, we pledged 20 billion. It's online with the forecast. We are really online. And I am sure that at the end of this year, we will propose even much more investment.
Talk to us about the effect that COVID-19 has had on economies across the continent. We saw, I think, France in recession due in part to COVID-19. What are business leaders, perhaps, who are gathered here today, what's their thoughts on the economy of South Africa and the investment potential of the country?
I think the surprising thing is South Africa has been touched as a developed country. We have a 7% decrease on the GDP, the same thing as we have in Europe. And it's showing also that South Africa is a developed country. The discussion will be around how the government will launch the recovery program, the recovery plan for the business. And we are there today also to discuss with people how we can do it all together. Because the objective is really how the French company who are there today in South Africa since years and years and years can support the economy. I will say one thing, during the COVID, the French industry, and you can verify that, has been very close to their personnel, their staff, okay? We have tried to avoid to retrench people, we have tried to provide subsidies, we have done a lot of things with the personnel because we think it's our responsibility also to do it.
Thank you very much for your time on SABC News. We're going to cross back to studio. Dr. Yves Ganou, the chairman of the French-South Africa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, just giving us a little bit of an insight into the thoughts of French companies that are working in South Africa. We'll be bringing you a little bit more live crossings later on with some of those other companies that we've spoken about and giving you insight into discussions that are taking place here in the broader context of French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to South Africa. With that, it's back to you in studio, Anastasia.